Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review here on the channel where today we'll conclude our mini-series into the whiskies from the Rampur Single Malt Indian whiskies. And we're going to end it with the Rampur Asava. So this is the one that's just joined the range last year, as it's very unique because it's matured or finished off, in Indian red wine casks. So Indian Cabernet Sauvignon casks. So for me, when I heard that, I was like, I tried Indian wine when I was in India, and a lot of it, I'd say about 80% of it was more missed than hit for me personally, because here in the UK we're spoilt for choice when we've got, French, Spanish, Australian, we've got wines from all over the world, American wines. We're spoilt for choice, but with Indian wines, it's the soil quality is different, the grape can come out a bit more different, the temperature, the climate, etc., everything's a bit different. So I was very interested when I saw this release, and I've tried this whiskey now twice. This is the third time actually, so I'm going to be sort of intrigued to see how the profile of this whiskey has developed and has changed. So without further ado, let's get into my review style structure. Mr. Bananas, thank you. So this one here, an age statement, it is a no age statement, bottled at an ABV of 45% ABV. The maturation or the casks on this one are a combination of American oak barrels, and then it's finished off in Indian Cabernet Sauvignon red wine casks. So you get this interesting characteristic where it's finished, not matured, in Indian wine casks. Now, the distillery itself is a Rampur distillery, also known as Radico Khatan Distillery, and it's located in northern India in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So it's actually one place I never got to visit when I was in India. I never got to go up north near Delhi, etc. I all stayed in Mumbai. Now, in terms of the actual price point on this whiskey, a full-size bottle of this one's coming in at around about £70 here in the UK. And in terms of exclusivity, I believe at the minute, I've checked a few shops online, couldn't find it online at the minute, so maybe it's sold out, or maybe we'll not got any more allocation. So again, it can be an exclusive whiskey because I haven't seen it show up anymore. Once it came to the market, I think that's been about it. But correct me if I'm wrong. If any of the guys from Rampur are watching this, do let me know in the comment section if you guys are watching it. Otherwise, I'll go and find it and leave it in the comment section for you all guys. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the nose on this whiskey. Into the nose. So to start us on the nose for the Rampur Asava, for me, you're getting a lot of those red characters straight up on the nose. And that red wine cask does play a massive influence, this Indian red wine. So for me on the nose of this one, I'm getting a lot of what I'm finding is red pears, red plums, I want to say red fruits, so to speak. There's a combination of different red fruits, some red berries, but this is fresh red berries. I'm getting red raspberries, a bit of cranberries, because cranberries seem to have this drying character about them. And I'm even getting a little bit of guava, a tropical fruit. But those red fruits and those red berries are still quite noticeable on the nose. It actually reminds me of a drink we get is called Vimto. It reminds me of a Vimto drink. Just got those different berries and that nice fruity profile to it. Behind all this, I'm getting a bit of butterscotch. And it reminds me of, in Indian cooking, you can buy saffron, you add saffron. And saffron's very expensive. Just for like a little bit of that, a few grams of that, it's about £20 here in the UK. It's very expensive, but it reminds me of saffron water. And it's something you can actually do with saffron rice as well. Beautiful, but again, very expensive, so use it sparingly. But it reminds me of saffron water. And then you get these vanilla notes, and it's almost like a vanilla cream. It's got this creaminess to it on the nose. Yeah, definitely that vanilla cream. And from there, I'm getting a bit of citrus, and it's like you've taken almost like an orange peel or tangerines, and you've grated some of the zest into this vanilla cream. And you just enhanced it ever so slight with a citrus aroma. Very nice nose. Very, very nice nose. Wow. Let's get into the palate next. Slunger. So to start us out on the palate for this whiskey, texturally wise, this is richer than the Select, the Double Cask, or the PX finish. For me, this one is more medium full, much more richer in texture. In terms of flavor profiles though, you do get that red wine, the Indian red wine specifically, I'm saying this, it's got a much more tarty, tannic quality about it. which really comes through. It's like you're taking grape skins, red plums, you're taking the skins and you're chewing on that, but it's got this drying character. And then it goes into some spices and you're getting that gingery heat working its way down through the center of your palate and then going down. But it also has a little bit of these softer spices, and this is like, for me, cinnamon, cardamom, and sweet clove. After that sort of subsided, you do get these citrusy characters. For me, this is more like nectarine, clementines, honeyed orange. I won't say honey orange peel, but it's more like clementines. The citrus is not so super dominant, but that sweeter wrapped around that sort of clementine character really is quite nice. You then get this nice malty character, which sort of resets the palate as it then goes into rose water and rose syrup. Probably more rose syrup on this one because it's gone a bit more richer. And then you get this combination of Indian sweets, which I just find quite magical about these whiskies, that you can have Indian sweets on a whiskey, which I just find that special, because Indian sweets, you normally know after you've had your dinner or, a special occasion, you have Indian sweets. This one, you're treated to it every time you go back to the glass. So I'm going to have a second sip and see what other stuff I can find. So from my second sip, I'm getting what I find is violet sweets, and you find that sometimes in 1980s but more, or some of these older whiskeys, sometimes that violet, Parma violets they call it, Parma violet sweets, but it's not like in some of those 1980s whiskies where it's off-putting. This one is actually really enjoyable, and it sort of integrates together with the Indian sweet character. Following from there, I'm even getting what reminds me of green coriander. But it's more just coriander leaves, not the stems, where it can change it to a bitter character. This is just more like coriander leaves, which is first time again I'm getting coriander on a whiskey, which I'm quite impressed. And then there's also something in the background which sits on the sides of the palate, which I can't put my finger on. There's a flavor profile that, I don't know, it's escaping me right now. But if I do come up with it, I'll leave it in the comment section. But I can feel that there on the palate. So we'll come to our finish and we'll conclude on the Rampur Asava. So overall, now to conclude on the Rampur Asava, in terms of the finish on this whiskey, leave that over here. Finish for this whiskey, I'd say, is more towards, it's got a nice length to it. For me, I'd say it's more towards medium full, where it really holds itself quite well. For me though, texturally and sort of profile wise, I'm getting pink lady apples, I'm getting raspberries, red licorice, those red fruits and the red characteristics are coming back. And for me, it's almost like a raspberry puree, which sometimes you use in garnishing on cocktails or even in desserts. It reminds me of a much more richer raspberry character. But I'm still getting that little bit of rose water, rose syrup, which I find I really like, to be honest. So overall comments on this whiskey, I'll give you my score first. I'm going to go with this. Rampur Asava is getting an 89 out of 100. For me, this whiskey is complex. It definitely has much more going on, and it has been changing as I've been working through this sample. For me, the nose is just really great. It's something I really loved. Palate-wise, it's nice, but I feel there was a little bit that needed improvement, especially the way you get that red wine cask character really coming through in the beginning, that tarty, almost dryness. I felt, again, I kind of expected it when I heard Indian red wine, but it saves itself with all these other different characteristics and a bit of the citrus coming back to sort of revigor the actual dram. In terms of the finish though, again, these red fruits, red licorice really made it quite nice. So in terms of money, water and time, start with the time aspect. We do give this one some time. It is optional because again, it just gives it some time to develop and open up. Water, if you do add water, now I did try this one with water before doing this, it gives it a much more oilier texture on the palate, and it takes it from a medium full to a medium, so much more enjoyable on the actual palate. It doesn't need, in terms of value for money, at about £70. For me, it's a unique experience. So again, I'll let you guys decide on that. For me, I think it's an okay price point. I would personally like to see about £60, but Indian red wine, where you're going to see that in any other whiskey, it is something I don't think any other whiskey distillery has used, is an Indian red wine cask. It is a very unique taste. So, 89 out of 100 for me. I actually I like the nose in this one, and the way the palate saves itself, finish, oomph, it's just unique. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys enjoy this. If you guys have tried the Rampur Asava, let me know down below in the comment section. Do you guys like this? Have you tried any whiskeys from Rampur? Let me know in the comment section. I think that's going to be it from me and Mr. Bananas. If you have enjoyed, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button. so you can stay up to date with other videos, and I'll leave some other reviews here on the screen. This has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Mr. Bananas. Catch you all for the next video. Slàinte.